Unmasking the Shadows. The mystery of Jack the Ripper. Step into the fog-laden streets of Victorian London, a city cloaked in shadows and fear. It's 1888, and an unknown figure stalks the alleys of Whitechapel, leaving behind a trail of chilling horror that would forever stain the pages of history. A name emerges, synonymous with terror: Jack the Ripper. Over a century has passed, but the mystery endures, a puzzle no one has solved. Who was this gruesome killer? And how did he vanish without a trace? This is not just a story of murder. It's a story of a mystery so twisted, it has baffled some of the greatest minds for generations. Tonight, we peel back the layers, confront the shadows, and explore a theory that could change everything you think you know about Jack the Ripper. But before the revelations begin, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel to join us on a journey of uncovering history's greatest secrets. Our story begins in the East End of London, a stark contrast to the grandeur of Westminster or the opulence of Buckingham Palace. Whitechapel in the late 19th century was a place riddled with poverty, overcrowding, and vice. The streets were filled with laborers, immigrants, and women forced into a desperate life of survival. It was in these dark, dingy lanes, illuminated only by flickering gas lamps, that a killer would strike. Women lived in constant fear, and the police were overwhelmed by the chaos of these slums. Into this grim setting stepped Jack the Ripper, a predator who would change London forever. Between August and November of 1888, 5 women, known as the Canonical Five, were brutally murdered. These women, all from impoverished backgrounds, shared a grim fate: mutilation at the hands of their killer. The first victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was discovered on August 31st. Her throat was slit and her abdomen horribly mutilated. Only a week later, Annie Chapman's body was found in an equally horrific state. As the violence escalated, so did the frenzied fear gripping the city. Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes met their end on the same night, September 30th, in what became known as the double event. While Stride's injuries suggested the killer may have been interrupted, Eddowes suffered the full wrath of the Ripper's brutality. Finally, Mary Jane Kelly, the youngest of the victims, was found on November 9th. Her murder was the most gruesome of all, her entire body mutilated beyond recognition. But the terror didn't stop at the killings. Jack the Ripper taunted the authorities with letters, claiming responsibility for the crimes. The most famous of these, the Dear Boss letter, introduced the chilling moniker we all know today: Jack the Ripper. The police struggled to keep up. Lacking the forensic tools we rely on today, they grappled with scant evidence and conflicting witness accounts. Hundreds of officers combed Whitechapel, questioning locals and chasing leads, but the case refused to yield answers. Suspects came and went. Ordinary men, doctors, and immigrants were hauled in, questioned, and cast aside. Despite their efforts, fear gripped London. No one was safe. The media sensationalized the case, splashing lurid headlines across every newspaper. Political tensions and class divides exacerbated the hysteria. The people demanded answers, but the Ripper slipped silently back into the shadows. Even as the murder stopped, speculation about the killer's true identity continued to grow. The list of suspects included some of the most eccentric and controversial figures of the era. Montague Druitt, a suave barrister with a mysterious death that coincided with the murders, was among the prime suspects. Then there was Aaron Kosminski, a Polish immigrant with alleged violent tendencies, and some even pointed fingers at wealthy elites, such as a royal physician, Sir William Gull. A more fantastical theory implicated Prince Albert Victor, grandson of Queen Victoria, weaving a conspiracy that reached into the highest echelons of British society. But despite these theories, something felt incomplete. The evidence remained elusive, the claims unsubstantiated. Over the years, modern technology offered new possibilities. DNA was extracted from letters allegedly written by Jack, though the results were inconclusive. From criminal profiling to advanced forensics, researchers have tried to unmask the Ripper's identity, but the mystery persists. But what if we've been looking at this case all wrong? Some experts propose a shocking possibility. Was Jack the Ripper not a man, but a woman? Dubbed Jill the Ripper by theorists, this idea highlights how female killers were often overlooked in the male-dominated investigations of the era. Evidence such as the anatomical knowledge displayed in the murders hints at a midwife or nurse. Could the Ripper have hid in plain sight, evading suspicion precisely because she broke the mold of what society considered a killer? Another controversial theory suggests the possibility of multiple killers. Could the Ripper crimes have been the work of more than one person, working in collaboration, or mimicking each other? This twist challenges the very foundation of the case, opening possibilities previously dismissed. Which theory do you find more plausible? Let us know in the comments below. Your insight matters in keeping these historical mysteries alive. Jack the Ripper reshaped the world of crime investigation. His elusive identity inspired the evolution of criminology and forensic science. The victimology of his crimes brought attention to the plight of women in Victorian society, setting the stage for social reform. But beyond the historic impact, it's his mythos that truly endures. The Ripper has been immortalized in novels, films, and documentaries, a figure who looms in the darkest corners of pop culture. We continue to revisit this story, not only to solve the crime, but to confront what it reveals about human nature and the thin line between civility and horror. Were we close to catching Jack the Ripper? Did a slip in evidence or missed opportunity allow him to evade justice? Or has his identity been staring us in the face all along, hidden under the very clues we've so closely examined? The questions linger like a specter over the streets of Whitechapel. While we may never know the truth, what we do know is that mysteries like this ignite the curiosity and creativity that moves us to explore, debate, and learn. As we unravel the Ripper's story, we are reminded of the shadows that lurk in history, the unanswered questions that keep us wondering. Join us as we continue to explore the mysteries that haunt our past. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Together, we can uncover the truth, one story at a time. As we leave the fog of Whitechapel behind, we leave you with a lingering thought. Perhaps the shadows of the past are closer to us than we dare to imagine. Are you ready to dive deeper into the unknown? Stay tuned.